Hospitals are feeling the post-holiday surge. Since Christmas Eve, Georgia medical centers have seen a 30% increase in COVID patients.
Some workers now concerned that new CDC quarantine guidelines could make things even worse. CBS 46's Jamie Kennedy live tonight at the CDC. Jamie?
Yeah, good evening, Tracy. So the nurses I spoke to say that they feel there's been pressure from outside to the CDC for them to make these changes, and also feel that officials really aren't speaking to the people on the front line.
I find the new guidance to be reckless.
Nurses are speaking out against the new CDC guidelines shortening the amount of time people need to quarantine and isolate.
We are in just about the same place that we were when Delta started. We had 10,044 cases.
The new guidance allows asymptomatic patients to only isolate for 5 days instead of 10, and a negative test is not required to end isolation.
I wouldn't want, as a patient, for somebody who is COVID positive to be taking care of me.
Nurses say the new guidelines compound an already stressful work environment.
I think this constant pushing, these guidelines from the CDC, is going to push people further away. Mentally and physically, everyone is exhausted.
The CDC says the new guidelines are based on the days you are most infectious.
The nurses most certainly have been on the front line for a very long time. The data is pretty clear that you're contagious for 2 days before and 3 days after you're symptomatic. So that if you're going 5 days or 7 days, you should be very low.
The American Association of Nurse Practitioners stressing the asymptomatic language is the key.
I think the CDC guidelines about being asymptomatic for 5 days, that needs to be taken very, very seriously.
With these new guidelines, everyone that I spoke to say if you do show any type of symptoms, please make sure you are still quarantining, and you also need to show a negative test if you have tested positive to come back to any workplace. Live at CDC headquarters, Jamie Kennedy, CBS 46 News.
Jamie